Oh, oh God. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Gapester here. This is the quick raid guide for Galakras Normal. As always, click on the annotations on the screen to check out all the other videos for this encounter. And with that, let's get started. So the basic goal of this fight is to split up your raid so that some of you are dealing with the creatures that come down the pathway, while the other part of the raid is destroying the creatures on the towers. Once both towers are clear, you can use the two guns on both towers simultaneously to shoot Galakras down from the sky and engage her in the final phase, at which point you can kill her and win the fight. Now to split the raid up, generally speaking, you're going to want players that are good at area of effect damage to stay in the pathway group, while players that are better at burst or cleave damage should go up the towers. You'll also need one healer at least and one tank for both groups. So we just did a 5-and-5 split with our majority of our melee going in the tower and the majority of our ranged staying down below. Now the party that's on the pathway should generally prioritize certain creatures over others to make sure the things that are important die first, and then you can worry about the rest later. So at the top you'll see the basic priority. Demolishers are the most important because these will fire at the tower party and stun them, which can possibly cause them to be knocked off and make big problems. The second is war banners. These are dropped on the ground. They have very low health, but they buff everything around them quite a bit. So make sure you kill the banners quickly. And then bone crushers are third. You don't necessarily have to kill these, but these actually will rush toward the helpful NPCs in the back of the pathway. And after they rush toward them, they'll fixate. So when a bone crusher rushes, use a stun on it, and then it will stop engaging the NPC and come back to the normal tank. And then finally are the war shaman and the totems they drop. It's important to kill the shaman quickly, or at least the totems, because they will heal the other NPCs, obviously, and you don't want that. Beyond that, if there's none of those mobs active, you can just area of effect attack everything and kill it off pretty easily. Now, members of the tower team should watch the indicator at the top of the screen to show when the tower is about to be activated. The left tower always activates first, and then the right one second. So with about 5% before the activation, get ready to go in the tower. You'll want to follow your tank up to the top, and once you're at the top, with all the mobs up there, again, sort of prioritize the important creatures first, and then worry about everything after. So our tower DPS focused on the sort of archer guys, the flame flingers and the sides there first, so they wouldn't attack players down below as much. And once those are dead, then you can worry about the main lieutenant, which is sort of a mini boss, as well as whatever's left over. So here you can see we're getting stunned quite a bit. That's because of the demolisher attacks that's from down below. So if you're not able to kill the demolisher in time, sometimes you can get stunned by it, and then the lieutenants, the mini bosses on the towers, use a cone attack that you need to avoid. So if you don't avoid it, you'll be knocked off, as you saw there. So watch for that cone attack as much as you can, and hopefully you won't get stunned at the same time. So that's it. Really just rush up to the top of the tower, following your tank, make sure the tank has threat, and then keep everyone active, avoid the cone, and kill everything as soon as you can. Once the tower mobs are destroyed, keep your tank up top in the gun that's now activated to shoot down the drakes that are all around you. Once the second tower is destroyed, you'll need to have a player from your tower team go up to the first tower as well, activate that gun while your tank remains in the second tower gun, and both of you need to shoot at Galakras simultaneously. Once you both shoot Galakras at the same time, she will come down and the second phase will begin. So phase 2 is pretty simple. I mentioned in the full guide, you can check that out if you want the information, that the strategy we used here in the video is not valid and something we tried. We technically got the kill, but basically don't do what you see in the video. Instead, use the diagram. So the diagram here shows a pretty basic setup. The red square is Galakras with your tank at the blue in front of her. The rest of the raid is stacked up behind her in melee range at orange. Now, the idea is that she'll shoot a ball of fire at a random raid member pretty frequently during this phase. You can see it's indicated by the line that's going toward the player. When the ball lands, it does huge damage to everyone in the raid. However, if the ball passes through other players, the damage is reduced on the explosion. So the idea is that players targeted by the ball will step backward behind the raid group at the yellow circle location there. And once the ball explodes, it's passed through pretty much everyone except the tank that was standing on orange. However, everyone that's on orange gets a stacking dot. So at a certain threshold decided by your raid, when your dot stack reaches a certain number, you want to actually clear it by moving out to the side. So you'll be out of the path of the ball. So that's what the green marker is on the left. Once your threshold reaches whatever it is, say 6 stacks, you step out to the side by yourself over at green. And unless you are targeted by the orb, in which case you have to go back to yellow quickly, you can just freely stay at green until your stack drops off. It's only a 15-second duration. Once your stack is dropped, you go back to the orange marker with the raid group and continue soaking up the orb damage. And this process just keeps repeating over and over. So that's it for phase 2. Basically, you stack the raid. If you get targeted by the orb, move behind the raid until it goes off, then move back to the stack. And if you have to reset your stacks, you move off to the left by yourself, unless you get targeted by an orb, in which case you have to go back behind the raid again. And this just goes over and over. So that is the normal quick raid guide for Galakras. As always, good luck, and thanks for watching.